and hello everyone. My name is Sofea Binti Ibrahim from TESL, and today I will give a presentation in order to fulfill the coursework of the multiliteracy subject TSLB 3193. But I won't be alone, since a buddy of mine named Sabrina will accompany me. Are you ready, Sabrina?
I am gladly willing to, Sofea. Hi everyone, my name is Noor Sabrina Binti Ibrahim. I am also from TESL. So today, we will brighten up your day with our presentation. However, Sofea forgot about another presenter who will be joining us today, Syuhada. Syuhada, please introduce yourself.
Pity me, forgotten by Sofea. But it doesn't matter. I am extremely pleased to offer all of the information and issues that have been studied from Catherine Lim short story entitled Male Child. Today, I, Nurul Binti Muhammad now, will be doing a presentation alongside two lovely young ladies.
Okay, so let's start this presentation with a summary of the story Male Child by Catherine Lim. At the start of the story, the protagonist, Chuan Poon, appears to be a loving husband and father. However, beneath the exterior is an unhappy man. Unhappy because all 6 of his children are girls, and he believes that girls are useless because they cannot pass down the family name. Chuan Poon wonders in the story if he was under a curse of having no male children for the sins of his past. Chuan Poon gradually distances himself from his family, and as seen in the story, he forgets what it means to be a father.
He grew irritable and avoided his wife and his daughters when they annoyed him.
And Chuan Poon runs to his wife about the embarrassment of not having a male child until she comes up with a deal.
If it is a girl child again this time, you may take another wife, and I shall not complain. You may bring her to live in this house, and I shall be subject to her.
Chuan Poon wants to marry another woman and wishes to have another girl instead of a boy so that he can marry the woman.
Now, we will be talking about the issues found in this short story. Actually, there are numerous issues in this story, such as devoted wife, son preference, a man who is blinded by his lust, irresponsible woman, and infidelity. But we have chosen one, the most important issue, to be addressed in further detail. It is infidelity. Here we are. These are the meanings of infidelity. Firstly, infidelity is the action or state being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner. Secondly, infidelity means the act or fact of having a romantic relationship or sexual relationship with someone other than one's husband, wife, or partner. Lastly, infidelity means the act of being unfaithful in marriage or relationship. So now, you all know what infidelity means. But what events illustrate this issue?
There are several events discovered in the story that are related to the issue of infidelity. So I will cover each one of them. The first one, Chuan Poon came again to this place once, accompanied by Ahbah, and once on his own, after he had met one of his coconut estate and felt lonely for the company of this beautiful woman. Okay, so from this tag, Ahbah is an example of a bad friend. He was the one who had initially invited Chuan Poon to go to the whorehouse, and not long after that, Chuan Poon went to the place on the pretext of feeling lonely even though he had a wife waiting for him at home. Chuan Poon should have gone back home to rest because he still had a wife and he shouldn't have done that. So, the second event is he was often away from home now, especially during nights, and his old mother-in-law and wife wondered, but said nothing. I don't seem to be able to give you a more detailed account about what happened. Can you help me, Sabrina?
Sure, I will lend a hand to you, buddy. In this case, both parties have made the wrong decision where Chuan Poon has abdicated his responsibilities as a husband and father for always not coming home to visit his family. His wife and his mother-in-law also did not ask why Chuanpun did not always return home. They were wondering, but they just kept quiet, maybe because they thought Chuanpun was busy with his work and business.
Yay! Thank you, Sabrina, for your help. Now it is time for the last event. So the last event is he went to auntie and told her he would like to keep the woman as his mistress. He would buy her a house to live in and money to spend every month, and she would not then be allowed to take other men. As for this time, I guess Sofea will help me with the explanation. Will you, Sofea?
Yes, of course, Ada. So, Chuanpun felt angry and fretted in his jealousy after seeing the mistress who had always been with him before along with other men. He begs the woman's aunt to make her his mistress and give her whatever she wants. However, her aunt did not agree and even asked to make the woman his wife instead of a mistress. Chuanpun is in dilemma because he does not want to divorce his wife who has been with him hard and happy, but at the same time, he also wants to be with his mistress.
That's all the events found in this short story. Guys, what should we talk about next?
Next, we will be discussing about the connection of this story with our lives and the reasons influence us to keep on reading this story. First, the gender issue, which is son preference, shown in this story really attracted me to read it. As we can see in the short story Male Child, the issue of son preference is the main point, even stated in the title. As a reader, I feel interested in reading something that is closely related to the real-world situations. Actually, we can see the issue of son preference is still happening in the society, especially in China. Son preference in China is a gender preference issue. Preference of sons can be explained by an attitude, which is a belief that boys have more value than girls. It can be defined as a gender bias as well. Therefore, sons are considered very important in the family to be the heirs to their property. In the story, Chuanpun was greatly dismayed by the fact that he had yet to get a male child in his household. He was haunted by the thought that he would have no male heir to carry on his name. Chuanpun also related the humiliation of not having a son as a curse from the deities. This also happened a lot, especially in the past, where the wife was cursed and hated by the husband's family for not giving birth to a son and was also considered to give bad luck. Fortunately, in the line with the development of the times, the minds of the people have become more open and no longer believe in such things.
Being born as a girl in China means you've already overcome the first hurdle in your life, and you should celebrate that you haven't become one of those missing girls in China. Survival for girls is difficult because of human intervention in pregnancy, such as sex-selected abortion or early death as a result of discriminatory treatment, not receiving adequate health care, lack of nutrition, fewer educational opportunities, and less care than boys. Girls are viewed as a financial burden in a family because money is supposed to be saved for boys. In China, 1 in every 10 newborn girls becomes a missing girl, and the disappearance rate remains around 10% until the girls turn 7 years old. They are deprived of life or basic rights because of their gender. In the last century, estimations indicate that 35.59 million women were missing, a figure equivalent to the total population of Canada in 2015. The Global Gender Gap Report measures the gender gap covering 145 countries in health, education, economic participation, and political empowerment. According to the Gender Ratio at Birth Assessment in the health category, China ranks last out of 145 countries, with a birth rate of 115 newborn boys to every 100 newborn girls. Thanks to China's 9-year compulsory education policy, boys and girls are now getting equal chance in receiving a formal education. Some girls are lucky enough to finish college education, but they still have to face gender discrimination and a series of challenges after graduation. The survey on the wages of college graduates shows us that in the year 2015, it takes 3.7 extra months for female graduates to earn what male graduates earn in 1 year. Women also have to worry about their personal safety at home. More than 30% of married women in China are subjected to domestic violence, and many of them choose to remain in silence. So this figure is just the tip of the iceberg.
From the reads I have done, I can see that the author has also brought this topic up, which has sparked my curiosity to continue reading. Despite the fact that this is not the main point for today's discussion, but it has managed to fascinate us, the readers. The writer's language is simple to understand, and I believe he behaves in such a manner that every word he wishes to express is easily comprehended by the reader. Throughout the reading, I can say that the author writes with great care to avoid using any harsh language, which demonstrates her as a nice example for us reader. The reason we pick this narrative is because it has an engaging plot with a range of themes as well as the use of simple language.
As for me, there is one issue which is belief systems of other ethnic called as Festival of the Nine Gods was mentioned in this story. Reading something is one of the ways we get information about new things, so is mine. I was interested in this short story because it gave me new knowledge about the culture and beliefs of other communities. For example, the Festival of the Nine Gods. After I read this story, I felt interested to know more in depth about the celebration of this festival, and after I studied, the Festival of the Nine Gods is a 9-day Taoist celebration that begins on the eve of the 9th lunar month of the Chinese calendar and is primarily celebrated by the Peranakans in Southeast Asian countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. In this story, Chuan Poon's family do celebrate this festival, as well as we can see both Chuan Poon and his wife went to the temple for the festival to offer prayers. On the eve of the 9th month, temples of the deities hold a ceremony to invoke and welcome the 9 emperors. And since the arrival of the gods is believed to be through the waterways, processions are held from temples to the seashore or river to symbolize this belief. Devotees dress in traditional white, carrying incense and candles, await their arrival. And throughout the 9-day festival, we can see that the temple is filled with a carnival-like atmosphere. The constant tickling of prayer bell and chants from the temple priests can be heard during this time. The majority of devotees live at the temple, eat vegetarian meals, practice celibacy, and recite continuous prayer chanting. It is expected to rain for the duration of the 9-day celebration. And in comparison to other stories, this one is rather unusual. As a result, we are convinced that the decision to pick the story was correct. This is because we can learn a little more about Chinese beliefs. We were exposed to Chinese culture at a young age as a result of these narratives. Thank you for the author for including such an important cultural elements in the tale that allows readers to be better understand the character and the plot. When the author offers a brief overview of the races' cultures, we as readers will be interested in learning more and more about them and studying the cultural distinctions that exist throughout the world. When reading this novel, the author provides a detailed explanation of the Chinese culture so that we can understand it well. Her work has provided readers with fresh information, and I intend to continue learning about the customs of different ethnicities. I think one day I want to feel for myself how the atmosphere of the Festival of the Nine Gods is celebrated. The multicultural elements in this story have influenced me and intrigued me as a reader to learn more about the cultures of other societies.
Southeast Asia. Every year during the 9th lunar month of the Chinese calendar, thousands of Taoists throughout the region celebrate a 2,000-year-old tradition called the Nine Emperor Gods Festival.
The Nine Emperor Gods Festival is a very, very important festival in Southeast Asian Chinese communities. And it revolves around a carnival-like ritual that takes place for 9 full days. The point of this festival is to summon the very, very powerful 9 Emperor Gods, because they're seen as residing up in the skies.
So, after listening to all the issues, what should we do as future educators? The first one, we as the agent of social transformation will be giving early exposures to students that their gender does not determine whether they are valuable or worthless, because they are all equal and special human beings. Second, teaching students in order for them to become responsible human beings who would not bring future suffering to others.
Third, encouraging women who wish to marry to choose a spouse wisely so that there will be no issues in the future. Fourth, urges single guys to always respect their spouses after marriage and to stop thinking of women as a method to pass the time when they are bored.
Reminding married couples that no matter what occurs, they must remain faithful and continue to strive in their marriage. And lastly, educating the public about the importance of women's dignity in a community and how they must be respected.
Now, we are at the end of the presentation, so we will conclude everything that we have learned throughout this presentation. First, we need to appreciate our partner and cherish every moment with him or her for the rest of our lives. Second, a wife's sacrifice cannot be compensated in money. Men should love their spouses as much as they can.
Children and spouses are extremely significant assets as a result of marriage, and children should not be judged on the basis of their gender. And a husband must be responsible for his children and wife and not commit injustice or abuse against them.
Next, we must be faithful to our partner so that the relationship lasts forever. Every woman must maintain her dignity and refrain from having an affair with a married guy. And lastly, when someone is blinded with lust, rationality will be put aside. It is important to destroy the lust first before it takes roots. Family love plays a crucial part in this matter. That's all from us. Ada, Sab, Pia. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.